I had been elbow-deep in a grav stabilizer when the palace guards came for me. At first, I thought it was a joke. Or a mistake. Or, if I was being honest, my luck finally snapping after years of holding together alien starships with improvised tools and human stubbornness. Because I was nobody important. Just a human mechanic on Kepri Prime, a jewel world of spired cities and bioluminescent skies ruled by the Varelian matriarchy. I wasn't a soldier. I wasn't a diplomat. I wasn't even officially employed by the crown. I worked contract jobs in the lower docking rings, patching hull fractures and coaxing ancient plasma drives into running one more cycle. I was good at it. Humans usually were. But good with machines didn't normally earn you an armed escort straight into the royal palace. Marcus Hale, the lead guard said, mandibles clicking as his translator rendered the sound into clipped galactic common. You are to come with us. By order of Her Radiance, Queen Shariel of Viral. I wiped grease off my hands and stared at him. Did one of your ships explode? The guards didn't laugh. That was when I knew this was serious. The palace of Viral rose like a living thing. Its walls were grown, not built, translucent crystal veins pulsing softly with bioenergy. I'd seen it from a distance 100 times. Up close, it made me feel small in a way that had nothing to do with size and everything to do with power. Every step echoed. Every servant and noble we passed stared at me with open curiosity. Humans were still rare here, tolerated, useful, but never central. Definitely not summoned. They led me into the High Court, a vast chamber with a domed ceiling that showed the planet's sky in real time. At the far end, seated upon a throne grown from living crystal, was Queen Shariel. She was terrifyingly regal. Tall even by Varelian standards, her iridescent carapace shimmered in shades of deep violet and gold. Her crown wasn't jewelry. It was a natural extension of her crest, grown into an elegant, lethal shape. Ancient eyes regarded me with the patience of someone used to being obeyed. To her right stood another figure. Her daughter, Princess Lethari. I recognized her instantly, though she'd never known me. Everyone on Kepri Prime knew the princess. She was said to be brilliant, fierce, and, according to rumor, terminally ill. I bowed awkwardly, remembering too late that Varelians didn't bow that way. Human Marcus Hale, the queen said. Her voice resonated through the chamber without amplification. You repaired the Eternal Dusk 3 cycles ago. Yes, Your Radiance, I said quickly. Temporary fix on the tertiary core housing. It wasn't designed for human tools, but it held, she said, against all predictions. Long enough for my daughter to return home. My heart skipped. The Eternal Dusk had been the princess's flagship. I did my job, I said. That's all. The queen leaned forward slightly. No. You did more. Our engineer said the ship should have failed within minutes. You rewrote power routing logic by instinct. You compensated for structural fatigue without knowing our materials. I swallowed. I've worked on worse. A ripple of amusement passed through the court. The queen's gaze sharpened. And then, 2 cycles later, you repaired the bioregulator in my daughter's exosuit. That made my stomach drop. That job had been unofficial. Quiet. I hadn't even been sure who the suit belonged to, just that it was ancient and failing in ways Varelian medicine couldn't explain. Yes, I said carefully. I replaced a failing resonance coil. The original design was elegant, but brittle. It needed flexibility. Silence fell. The queen rose from her throne. Because of your intervention, she said, my daughter still lives. Every eye in the chamber locked onto me. And because of that, the queen continued, I have made a decision. This was the moment I realized when my life would either improve dramatically or end violently. Human Marcus hail, Queen Shariel declared, "You will marry my daughter." The words echoed. My brain stalled. What? Princess Lethary's eyes widened, her bioluminescent markings flaring in shock. "Your radiance," I said, panic clawing up my spine. "With respect, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm honored, but—" "You are suitable," the Queen said flatly. "You possess resilience, ingenuity, loyalty demonstrated without coercion, and your physiology is compatible." That last word made several nobles murmur. "I'm just a mechanic," I said weakly. "And yet," the Queen replied, "you accomplished what my finest minds could not." Princess Lethary finally spoke. "Mother, this is highly irregular." The Queen turned to her daughter, expression softening by a fraction. "You are dying, Lethary. Your bioresonance is unstable. Our line will end with you." The room felt too tight, too heavy. "The human's nervous system," the Queen continued, "is adaptive, chaotic. It may stabilize yours. Our scientists believe a bonded union could save your life." I stared at the princess. She stared back. There was fear there, and anger, and something else, hope, buried and unwanted. "No one asked me," I said quietly. The Queen's gaze returned to me. "I am asking now. Will you accept?" I thought of my life in the docking rings, the endless repairs, the loneliness, the quiet satisfaction of fixing things no one else could. I thought of the princess, standing there with the weight of an empire on her failing body. "I don't want to be a cure," I said. Lethary's eyes softened. "You would be more than that," she said softly, "or we would not be speaking." The Queen waited. I took a breath. "I'll do it," I said. "On one condition." The court gasped. The Queen's eyes narrowed. "Speak." "She chooses," I said. "If she wants me. Not because she's ordered to. Not because she's desperate." Silence stretched. Then, slowly, Princess Lethary stepped forward. "I choose," she said, voice steady despite the tremor in her light. "Not because you saved me, but because you dared to ask." The Queen inclined her head. "So be it." The weeks that followed were a blur of rituals, translators, and cultural misunderstandings. I learned Varelian bonding customs. They learned that humans needed privacy, caffeine, and regular reminders not to panic. Lethary and I talked. A lot. About machines. About responsibility. About fear. She was sharper than any engineer I'd met, her mind always probing, questioning. Beneath the royal composure was someone exhausted by expectation. "I don't want to be remembered as the princess who died," she admitted one night, lights dimmed around us. "Or the one who lived only because of you." "You won't be," I said. "You'll be remembered as the one who chose." The bonding ceremony wasn't what I expected. No spectacle, no crowd. Just us, standing within a living chamber that resonated with both our heartbeats. When the bond activated, I felt it, a strange synchronization, like two engines finally running in harmony. It hurt. Then it didn't. Lethary gasped as her bioluminescence stabilized, no longer flickering. The doctors stared in disbelief. "She's stabilizing," one whispered. The Queen said nothing. She only watched me with a look I couldn't quite read. Months passed. Lethary grew stronger. Not cured, but no longer fading. And I realized something else had changed. I wasn't just a mechanic anymore. I was consort to a future queen, an advisor on technology, a bridge between human chaos and Varelian order. The court still whispered. Some resented me. Some feared me. But when a war fleet returned crippled from a border conflict, they came to me. When ancient systems failed, they asked my opinion. And when Lethari ascended the throne years later, her hand found mine, not as a symbol, but as an anchor. I never planned to marry royalty. I never planned to matter. But sometimes, all it takes to change the fate of an empire is a human who knows how to fix what everyone else gave up on. And an alien queen who knew exactly what she was doing when she ordered me to marry her daughter. I was lying on my back under a Varelian corvette when my life ended. Not literally, though at the time, that seemed like a real possibility, but the quiet, invisible life I'd been living as a nobody human mechanic on Kepri Prime was over the moment the palace guards surrounded my work bay. Their chitinous armor gleamed under the docking lights. Pulse spears hummed softly in their grips. Dockworkers froze mid-task. Someone dropped a tool. I slid out from under the ship, wiping coolant and grease from my hands. I said, "Can I help you?" The tallest guard stepped forward. His translator clicked to life. "Marcus Hale. Human. You are summoned by royal decree. You will come with us immediately." Every pair of eyes in the docking ring locked onto me. I laughed because the alternative was screaming. "You sure you've got the right guy?" "I fix broken ships. That's it." "The Queen does not make mistakes," the guard replied. That was when my stomach dropped. Kepri Prime's royal palace wasn't built. It was grown. Massive crystalline arches rose from the planet itself, threaded with living light. The walls pulsed faintly, responding to the bioelectric fields of those who walked inside. I had worked on ships worth more than entire cities, but nothing prepared me for the weight of authority pressing down on that place. I didn't belong there. Everyone knew it, including me. They marched me into the high court, where nobles stood in layered silks and hardened carapace, their luminous eyes filled with curiosity and suspicion. At the far end of the chamber sat Queen Shariel. She was ancient in the way mountains were ancient. Tall, imposing, her violet gold exoskeleton bore the marks of centuries of rule. Her crown was not decoration, it was grown, a natural extension of her form. Beside her stood Princess Lethari. I recognized her instantly. Everyone did. She was the Queen's only daughter, heir to the Varelian throne. And according to whispers that spread even through the lower docks, she was dying. "Human Marcus Hale," Queen Shariel said. Her voice resonated without amplification. "Step forward." My legs moved before my brain caught up. "You repaired the cruiser Eternal Dusk 3 cycles ago," she continued. "Yes, Your Radiance," I said. "Emergency field repair. The tertiary drive lattice was cracked beyond recovery," she interrupted. "And yet it held." I swallowed. "That ship carried my daughter," the Queen said. "You ensured her return." Princess Lethery's eyes met mine. There was recognition there now. Not gratitude, something heavier. "And later," the Queen continued, "you repaired a failing bioregulator within her exosuit. A device our own scientists deemed irreplaceable." I felt the room tighten around me. "I didn't know who it belonged to," I said quietly. "I just fixed what was broken." The Queen rose. "Because of your actions, my daughter lives," she said. "And, because of that, I have decided your fate." Every instinct I had screamed that this was the moment where humans ended up executed for crimes they didn't know they'd committed. "Marcus Hale," Queen Shariel declared, "you will marry my daughter." The chamber exploded into shocked murmurs. I stared at her, then at the princess, then back at the Queen. "I'm sorry," I said, because my brain had completely stopped functioning. "I think my translator malfunctioned." It did not. Princess Lethari stiffened. "Mother." "You are dying," the Queen said calmly. "Your bioresonance is collapsing. Our line ends with you unless we act." I felt sick. The human nervous system, the queen continued, is adaptive in ways ours is not. Chaotic. Resilient. A bonded union may stabilize her condition. I took a step back. You're talking about using me like a medical device. Princess, Hari flinched. You would be more than that, the queen said. Or I would not permit it. I turned to the princess. Is this what you want? Silence stretched. Finally, Hari spoke. I don't want to die, she said softly. And I don't want to be alone while I'm trying to live. The queen's gaze fixed on me. Will you accept? My old life flashed through my mind. The endless repairs, the quiet nights, the knowledge that no matter how skilled I was, I would never matter here. I looked at Hari again, at the fear she was hiding behind royal composure. I'll do it, I said. But only if she chooses me freely. The queen studied me for a long moment. Then she nodded. So be it. The days that followed were surreal. I was moved from my cramped quarters near the docks into a guest wing of the palace. Servants followed me everywhere. Medical scans became routine. Varelian scientists argued endlessly over my biology. Hari and I were encouraged, politely but firmly, to spend time together. At first, it was awkward. You don't look like a royal consort, she said once, watching me struggle with formal robes. You don't look like someone who needs fixing, I replied. That earned a faint smile. She was brilliant, sharp-minded, burdened by expectations that would have crushed anyone else. I've been prepared to rule since I could walk, she told me one night. But no one prepared me to fail. You're not failing, I said. You're adapting. The bonding ceremony was held in a living chamber deep beneath the palace. No crowd, no spectacle, just us. When the bond activated, it felt like standing between two power conduits suddenly aligned. Pain lanced through my skull. Hari gasped, collapsing against me. Then calm. Her bioluminescent marking stabilized, glowing steady and strong. The physicians stared in stunned silence. She's not declining, one whispered. She's balanced. The queen exhaled for the first time since entering the chamber. Hari did not recover overnight. But she lived. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. She grew stronger. Her presence brighter. And something unexpected happened along the way. We fell in love. Not because we were ordered to. Not because of duty. But because late-night conversations turned into laughter. Because she challenged my assumptions, and I grounded her fears. Because together, we were more than the roles forced upon us. The court never fully accepted me. Some saw me as a tool. Others as a threat. Then war came. A border fleet returned shattered, their ancient warships crippled by weapons no one understood. Varelian engineers were baffled. Hari looked at me. Can you help them? She asked. I rolled up my sleeves. Show me what's broken. Working beside their engineers, I saw the flaw, feedback loops too rigid, systems too perfect to adapt. Human designs were ugly, flexible, forgiving. We rewrote their systems together. The fleet flew again. That day, the whispers changed. Years later, Queen Shariel died peacefully, her reign ending as it began, with absolute certainty. Princess Hari ascended the throne. When she placed the crown upon her crest, she reached for my hand. Not as a symbol, as a choice. I was just a mechanic, I once told her, standing beside her as the court bowed. She smiled. You still are. You just fix bigger things now. I never wanted power. I never wanted a throne. But sometimes history doesn't care what you want. Sometimes, all it takes to change the fate of an empire is a human who refuses to walk away from what's broken, and an alien queen who knew exactly what she was doing when she ordered me to marry her daughter.